Communicating in and beyond organizations. For most of us, work is collaborative, whether the people we work with are in adjacent cubicles or on the other side of the world. We are members of communication networks, patterns of contact created by the flow of messages among communicators through time and space. Two kinds of networks exist: formal and informal. Formal communication networks are systems designed by management that dictate who should communicate with whom to get a job done. The most common way of describing formal communication networks is with organizational charts. Organizational charts provide clear guidelines indicating who is responsible for a given task and which employees are responsible for others' performance. They also depict optimal flows of communication, including downward, upward, and horizontal communication. Here is an example of an organizational chart. Downward communication, sometimes referred to as top-down communication, occurs whenever leaders or managers send messages to their lower-level employees. Downward communication is usually one-directional. In other words, the higher-level communicator does not invite a response from the lower-level recipient. Examples of downward communication include explaining an organization's mission or vision. Messages flowing from the lower levels of hierarchy to upper levels are labeled upward communication. Almost every organization claims to seek upward messages, but many supervisors are not as open to employee opinions as they purport themselves to be. Businesses that are truly open to upward communication can profit from the opinions of employees. Upward communication can convey what employees are doing, which unsolved problems they are facing, how areas might be improved, and how employees feel about one another and the workplace. A third type of organization interaction is horizontal communication, sometimes called lateral communication. This type of communication occurs between people, divisions, or departments that would be considered on an equal level in the organization hierarchy. When determining a channel to use for your communications, it is good to take into consideration their characteristics so you choose the best channel possible. Alongside the formal networks, every organization also has informal communication networks, patterns of interaction based on friendships, shared personal or career interests, and proximity. Informal relationships within organizations operate in ways that have little to do with the formal relationships laid out in the organizational charts. They are often a source of important job-related information, organizational resources, career advice, and social connections that help workers successfully navigate their careers. Not all formal messages are idle rumors. Informal communication can serve several useful functions. Confirming formal messages such as, "The boss is really serious this time about cutting down on overnight travel. I heard him yelling about it when I walked past his office." Expanding on formal messages such as, "The invitation to the office party says casual dress, but don't make it too casual or too informal." Expediting official messages such as you learning about openings within an organization from people in your network long before the vacancies are published. Contradicting official messages, such as you learning from a friend in accounting that the deadline for purchases on this year's budget is not as firm as it sounded in the comptroller's recent memo. And circumventing formal channels, such as your tennis partner who works in documentations might sneak in an occasional rush job for you instead of putting it at the end of the line. While all of us have personal contacts, networking, as the term is typically used, has a strategic dimension that goes beyond being sociable. It is the process of deliberately meeting people and maintaining context to give and receive career information, advice, and leads. Some professionals attend face-to-face mixer events to expand their social network, while others choose to network at sites like LinkedIn, which are designed expressly for business purposes. People with highly developed personal networks tend to be more successful in their careers. Over their lifetime, they earn more raises, are promoted more often, and are generally more satisfied with their jobs. With better networks, people have greater access to career sponsorship, resources, and information. As you explore and expand your network, keep the following in mind. View everyone as a networking prospect, for almost everyone you meet has the potential to be a source of useful information. Be sensitive to personal and cultural factors. While everyone you meet is a potential networking prospect, it is important to think of each person as an individual. It is also important to recognize that culture plays a role in networking practices. Treat your contacts with gratitude and respect. Do not make the mistake of equating networking with being dishonest or exploitive. As long as you express a genuine desire for information openly, there is nothing to be ashamed of. When others do give you information, be sure to express your appreciation and let them know exactly how the information they gave you was helpful. Help others. Do not just be an information seeker. Whenever possible, make an effort to put people who will benefit from contact in touch with one another. Get referrals to secondary sources. The benefits of personal networks do not stop with your personal acquaintances. Each person you know has his or her own connections, some of whom could be useful to you. Seek a mentor. A mentor is a person who acts as a guide, trainer, coach, and counselor, who teaches you the informal rules of an organization or field, and who imparts the types of wisdom that come from firsthand experience. Network throughout your career. Networking is not just for job seekers. In an era when changing jobs and even changing careers is common, expanding your options is always a smart move.